hip hop is not black people's culture. Hip hop is black people from New York's culture. And technically, black people from every other place is thieves of that culture. You have to understand, you had black people from New York breakdancing on cardboards and doing the whole hip hop thing. And the Puerto Ricans were there, they witnessed it, and we accepted them in. And they was a part of our hip hop thing, which was just the New York thing, specifically the Bronx and Harlem thing. My point? A Puerto Rican from New York got more say in hip hop than a black person from Atlanta, Virginia, DC, Chicago, LA, etc. Again, hip hop is not black culture. In fact, it was frowned upon by black people for quite a while. When I was a kid, hip hop was still being frowned upon. It wasn't widely accepted amongst blacks, not just other races, but amongst blacks. You have to understand, in Brooklyn, they ain't start listening to hip hop in Brooklyn until the late 90s, early 2000s. Before that, all they listened to was reggae, Capleton, things of that nature. I have a sister. You can ask her about 1990s hip hop. She don't know nothing. And it's because, like I said, in Brooklyn, all they listened to was reggae. In fact, I'm the same way. I don't remember the KRS-One times. I can't tell you a KRS-One song. And it's because I was living in Brooklyn in 1990 through like 1990. Who even remembers? But you get my point. It's a deep thing. In Brooklyn, they didn't even embrace hip hop. We talking about the black people. Black people in Brooklyn were Jamaican. We not talking about Jamaicans. I'm talking about black people. My sister black, but she spoke like she was Jamaican, and all her friends did too. And whoever my age and older, and they from Brooklyn, and they lie and tell you, and they lie and tell you they was listening to hip hop and not speaking like they was Jamaican. Well, like I said, they're lying. And so I want to be clear. Hip hop is popular now, and everybody is laying claim to it. But I want to be clear, if you want to know the true history of hip hop, it's not a black culture thing. It's just a black people from New York thing. And like I said, the Puerto Ricans were there, and we accepted them in, nobody else. And that's the truth. In the beginnings of hip hop, when other places was rapping like LA and down south, New York people was taking offense because they viewed it as they stealing. And these was other black people, but that's how it was still viewed, because hip hop wasn't something that was everybody thing. It was just our thing. You know, people from New York. And so if you go back to the Source Awards, New Yorkers booed everybody. They booed all the people from LA that won awards. They booed Outkast. They booed whoever wasn't from New York because they viewed it as everybody was stealing. And so it's a deep thing. Like I said, hip hop is popular now and everybody want to claim it, but it's really just a New York black people's culture thing. Again, I'm talking about the hip hop that we know now. When hip hop first came out in New York, it was still disco, pop, R&B type music, you know? This is like 79 is when the first legitimate hip hop record came out. That's the to the hip hop hippie that forgot their names, but so you figure hip hop was in New York probably four 4, 5 years before that. The point I'm making is, you could say hip hop started with James Brown, but the hip hop that we know, the breakdancing and the scratching up old beats, because that's what hip hop is. When you take those old disco and R&B records and then you scratch and scrape all over it and make a whole new beat. That DJing thing, that's hip hop. Hip hop ain't got nothing to do with rap music and rapping words. That was a later addition, but hip hop itself is just taking those old disco records, you know, your mother and your father's little albums. Take those, put those on a record player and scratch it, scratch it, clean up, and get in trouble later. But you get my point? That's hip hop. Breaking out the cardboard, breaking out the old records and scratching them up, and you know, dudes breaking and popping and locking to that beat. And then over time, you know, people start, you know, adding chants to it. Say hey, say ho, and all of that. But that hip hop, that whole culture thing right there that I just said, that's a New York thing. And it don't have nothing to do with no other place. Period. In fact, like I said, a lot of places shunned hip hop in its beginning. So it's truly a New York thing only. And everybody is just, you know, thieves and riding the wave out now. But they were shunning it in its beginnings. And so Lord Jamar got right in checking Fat Joe and whatever he feel like it. But everybody else don't. Again, hip hop is a New York culture thing, not a whole black people's culture thing. And the Puerto Ricans was there watching us shape and form it. In that, a Puerto Rican got more say in hip hop than anybody except a black New Yorker. If you from Atlanta, this place, that place, even if you from this new generation, you don't got more say in hip hop than a Puerto Rican of old. You see a Puerto Rican 40-something years old and up, you don't got more say in hip hop than them if they from New York. And so it's a deep thing. Y'all can't, a lot of y'all tearing down Fat Joe, technically y'all out of line, because y'all would be the thieves. Meaning hip hop is a black New York thing and the Puerto Ricans was there and none of y'all were. And so how you telling Fat Joe anything? Only Lord Jamar could. And so it's a deep thing. Salam.